You know, every year, this is the activity that takes us, the Secretariat team, and the management of PLDT and Directories Philippines, Yellow Pages, the longest to decide on. The theme. we throw around quite a few of them, and so you can imagine, we've been through 32 so far. So marami ng etche pwede, hindi na pwede ito, nagawa na natin ito, nagawa na natin ito. So after a long and very interesting discussion, the companies chose the idea of legacy, as one mentioned earlier. And upon first thought, it's unusual for late, well, 18 to 24 aged students to think of legacy, because most of the time we think of legacy as, you know, something that's passed on by an outgoing generation. It's usually mostly old people who think of legacy. Ano ba, ipapamana. Okay. But aside from thinking of it as a culmination of our life's work, it's, it begs the question, is this the only way to look at legacy, the idea of legacy? In fact, young people, whether they know it or not, are creating legacy every single day. So we turned that around and we created the expression, creating legacy, creating the future. And that's how we captured it in thought. To kickstart it, we asked the question, ano ang may halaga sa'yo? Okay, ito ang tinatanong namin sa mga estudyante. Ano ang mahalaga sa'yo? Some wise guy said before, the only constant is change. Okay. But some things we know do not change. They remain constant. And these are the things that anchor our lives. These are the things that we value, that give meaning to our existence. And even young people know that. So these are values that we want to bequeath in the midst of all the things that change. Interestingly enough, there was a speech that Oprah Winfrey, one of our favorite media people, she talks about that she touched on legacy in a speech that she gave to a graduating class. And she talked about material success, saying material success doesn't really fully satisfy you. It doesn't fill up your life. But a life of substance does. And she says, how do you get to substance? You ask the question, what do you stand for? What do I stand for? And the things we stand for are, of course, the things that don't change. She says, she talks about, she shares an anecdote that she said after many years of being so successful, she finally decided to build this school. You know that she built this school in South Africa, and she said after they inaugurated it, she thought, wow, this is the best thing I've done so far. And she thought, this is my legacy. And she happened to be at an event with Maya Angelou, you know, the poet activist, and she says to Maya Angelou, she says, you know, this I think is going to be my greatest legacy. And she says, Maya Angelou turned and looked at her and said, you have no idea. Well, Oprah does it better. She said, Maya Angelou says, you have no idea what your legacy will be. In fact, your legacy is every life you have touched. I thought that was one of the most beautiful ways of looking at legacy. It's something constant that we create with every interaction we make. One is never too young to think about legacy. We need to be more aware of the impact that our day-to-day decisions, because they reflect the values that we hold dear, will have on the future shape of our society and the sustainability of our planet. And this is the challenge we put to students. Sabi nga ni Mon 33, full knowledge before communication. Pag-isipan bago iguhit. Ano nga ba sa ating lipunan at mundo ang pangarap mong panatilihin o baguhin para sa mga darating na salidlahi? The answers will surely amaze us in this, our 33rd Visual Communications Competition. Thank you.